Zara stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the light pink dupatta over her shoulders. The soft fabric matched her dress perfectly, and her silver earrings swayed slightly as she turned her head. She had taken her time getting ready. It was her cousin's engagement, and everyone would be there. All the aunties, all the cousins, all the stares. She had mastered the art of smiling through questions she no longer wanted to answer. But deep down, she still hoped to feel beautiful, still hoped to belong. As she stepped into the hall, laughter and music surrounded her. Lights sparkled overhead, and people danced and clicked selfies. Zara walked in quietly, holding a small gift bag in her hand. Heads turned. Some smiled. Others whispered. She caught the quick glances. They weren't kind. Asi lag rahi ho, her cousin whispered, hugging her. Ignore them. Zara smiled and nodded, but her chest felt tight. As she walked to find her seat, she passed by a group of women from her extended family, still single. One whispered behind her, 40's not far. Another giggled. Sad she was so talented too, someone added. Zara sat down without reacting. Her hands rested in her lap, still holding the gift. She kept her eyes on the stage where the bride-to-be glowed under the lights, laughter in her eyes and love in her smile. For a moment, Zara imagined herself up there. Just for a second. Then she reminded herself it was foolish to dream. Later that evening, she stepped out into the cool night air to catch her breath. The noise, the fake smiles, the quiet pity, it was all too much. As she stood near the garden wall, an older woman approached her, her aunt, her late mother's sister. You look lovely, Beta, she said gently. Thank you, Zara replied. The aunt looked at her kindly but added, you know, people are only asking because they worry. It's not easy to find someone at your age. Most good matches are already taken. Maybe lower your expectations a little. You're not 20 anymore. Zara felt the words slice through her like a cold wind. She smiled politely and excused herself. Back home, she removed her earrings slowly, her fingers slightly trembling. She wasn't crying. She had stopped crying years ago. But something inside her felt heavy. She took a deep breath, turned off the lights, and lay on her bed. She stared at the ceiling for hours. Around midnight, her phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. You don't know me, but I've known you. You may not remember me, but I remember you. Zara frowned. She opened the message fully. I saw you today at the engagement. You looked graceful, like always. I didn't speak. I couldn't, but I had to. Say some people can't see gold because they're busy looking for glitter. She sat up, now curious. She typed back slowly. Who is this? A few moments passed. Imran, we studied together. Years ago. I doubt you even noticed me then, but I never forgot you. Zara stared at the name Imran. It didn't click immediately, but something about the message made her heart pause. It didn't feel like a prank. It didn't feel like a stranger trying to flirt. It felt thoughtful, real. She didn't respond again that night. She placed her phone aside and went back to bed, but her mind was no longer on the engagement, or the whispers. Instead, it wandered back in time to her university days. The library benches, the quiet classrooms. The next morning, Zara sat with her cup of tea and scrolled through her messages again. The text from Imran was still there. She opened her laptop and searched through her old university photos. Group pictures from events, old classroom shots, birthday parties and hostels. She wasn't sure what she was looking for until she saw him back row, second from the left. A boy with soft eyes and a shy smile. Always quiet, always in the background. Imran, she remembered him now vaguely. He wasn't the kind who spoke much. She never had a real conversation with him, but he had always been there. In photos, in classrooms, in the background of her memories. Her phone buzzed again. I hope you don't mind me reaching out. I know it's strange. I just wanted to say people might have opinions about you, but I see someone strong, someone who kept going. Zara smiled faintly. She typed back, I remember you now, Imran. You were always in the library, right? The reply came quickly. Yes. Usually near the window. I always saw you helping others. You never noticed, but you inspired me once. Zara blinked. No one had said that to her in a long time. That's kind of you. Thank you. I meant it, he replied. May I ask something? Sure. Why does everyone speak about your age like it's a crime? As if turning older means turning invisible? Zara stared at the message, her chest tightening. Because they think time defines a woman's worth. They're wrong, he replied. Some people age, others bloom. She read that line again and again. Some people age, others bloom. For the first time in a long while, Zara felt something stir inside her. Not hope, not yet, but a question. What if she hadn't missed her train? What if her journey was only just beginning? Zara couldn't stop thinking about the message. It had followed her into her dreams, and now, into her morning. She made her tea but didn't taste it. Her phone sat beside her, as if waiting for her to pick it up again. And when she finally did, there it was, Imran's message, still open on the screen. Some people age, others bloom. She had read those words at least 10 times. Why had he said that? Why now? Why her? Zara wasn't used to anyone noticing her anymore, not like this. Not with words that didn't pity or pressurize, but words that saw her. Still, She didn't want to get carried away. She had learned the hard way what it meant to trust someone too quickly. She had loved once, deeply, and when it ended, it had left scars that never truly faded. She typed slowly, "Why now, Imran, after all these years?" A pause, then a reply, "Because yesterday I saw you again, and I realized I never stopped seeing you." Zara didn't know how to respond to that. She stared at the screen, her heart uneasy. Part of her wanted to end the conversation, but the other part, the part that still believed in something gentle and kind, wanted to know more. "What do you want from me?" she typed. His reply came almost immediately. "Nothing. Just conversation. Just honesty. Just a little space to say the words I never had the courage to say before." She put the phone aside and walked out onto her balcony. The air was warm, the sun hidden behind pale clouds. The city below moved with its usual rhythm, cars honking, people rushing, life going on, and yet something inside her felt like it had paused. Later that day, she visited her boutique. Her assistant, Sana, greeted her with a warm smile. "You're glowing today," Sana said. Zara laughed. "It's probably the sunlight." "No," Sana said with a grin. "It's something else." "Maybe someone." Zara shook her head, brushing off the comment. "Let's just focus on today's orders." But even as they worked, Zara found herself distracted. She checked her phone during breaks. No new messages, but somehow, it didn't matter. One conversation had already changed something inside her. By evening, she received a voice note from Imran. "Zara, I know you don't owe me anything. I know I'm a stranger in many ways. But I meant what I said. You were always someone people looked at but never really saw. I watched you lift others, give more than you received, and never complain. I never spoke up then because I didn't think I mattered, but maybe I can now. Even if just to remind you you still matter." To someone, Zara replayed the message twice. His voice was calm, respectful, quiet, not trying to impress, just honest. She typed a reply, "Thank you for noticing, for remembering." He responded, "Always. May I ask one more thing?" "Yes, dude. You remember the art exhibition in our final year? You drew a woman standing alone under a red umbrella. I still remember the way you sketched her eyes." Zara's heart skipped. That painting had been deeply personal. She had poured her loneliness into it at the time, though no one had known. "I remember, it was my favorite." "Mine too," Imran said, "because that's when I realized you were feeling alone, even in a crowd." Zara felt something ache in her chest. "You saw that?" "Yes, and I wanted to walk up and tell you, I see you, but I never did." She smiled faintly, typing, "You're telling me now?" He replied, "Yes. I finally found the courage." That night, Zara pulled out an old sketch pad from her cupboard. She hadn't drawn in months, maybe years. Life responsibilities and heartbreak had pushed her creativity into silence. But now, her fingers itched to feel the pencil again. She opened a fresh page and started sketching. The outline came slowly. A woman under a red umbrella, again, but this time, she wasn't alone. Someone stood beside her, not holding her, not rescuing her, just standing next to her, quietly, with respect. She didn't know what it meant yet, but she kept drawing. The next morning, she found herself excited to check her messages. Imran had sent a simple good morning text, along with a photo of an old library corner. "This used to be my favorite place. It's where I used to watch the world and you." Zara laughed softly and sent back a photo of her sketch. "This is what I drew last night," he replied. "She looks peaceful this time." "Maybe she is," Zara wrote. "Or maybe she's learning to be." They chatted the rest of the day about books, memories, dreams. Not once did he ask her about her age. Not once did he make her feel like time had stolen her worth. In fact, for the first time in a long time, Zara felt like time had gifted her something. But just as her heart started to open, something unexpected happened. That night, as she sat reading a book Imran had recommended, she received a message from a number she had deleted long ago. It was from Omar. Zara couldn't believe what she was seeing. Omar's message blinked back at her from the screen like a ghost knocking at her door. She hadn't seen or heard from him in almost 9 years, not since the night he ended everything. He had said the timing wasn't right, that his parents didn't agree, that she was too focused on her career. What he really meant was that she was no longer the version of herself he could control. Her hands trembled slightly as she read the message again. "I'd like to meet. For closure. Closure. Now." After all this time, Zara turned off the phone and set it aside. But her mind wouldn't rest. Questions started spinning in her head. Why now? What did he want? Did he even deserve a reply? Her heart, already stirred by Imran's gentle messages, felt conflicted. A part of her was angry, another part afraid, and somewhere deep inside, a part of her just wanted to stay steady for once. She didn't reply that night. Instead, she opened her sketchbook again. The woman with the red umbrella was almost finished. The man beside her was still a rough outline, no details. Just presence. She didn't sleep much. The next morning, she sat in her boutique's tiny office, staring out of the glass window as customers passed by. Sana brought her coffee and noticed the tension on her face. "Everything okay?" Sana asked. Zara forced a smile. "Just old things knocking on the door." Sana didn't press. She knew when to give silence. By noon, Zara picked up her phone and messaged Imran. Something happened last night. Omer messaged me. His reply came quickly. Are you okay? Yes, just confused. You don't owe him anything, Zara, especially not your peace. Zara exhaled slowly. He asked to meet. Says he wants closure. A pause. Do you want that? Imran asked Joshitha for a while. I want answers, but I don't want the past to shake what I've built now. Imran replied with calm clarity. Then meet him, not to get something back but to let it go fully. Later that day, she messaged Omer. Fine, let's meet. Tomorrow, 1 hour only. He replied within seconds. Thank you. I'll be at the Olive Caf. 6 p.m. The following day, Zara stood in front of the cafe mirror, adjusting her scarf. Her reflection stared back at her, not unsure, but cautious. She had grown. She had built herself up from that heartbreak, piece by piece. Today, she wasn't here for approval. She was here to close the chapter with grace. Omer was already seated when she arrived. He stood up quickly, smiling nervously. Zara, he said, as if the word itself hurt him to speak. She nodded and sat across from him. Look, the same, he began. I'm not, she replied softly. He looked down. Fair. I deserved that. There was an awkward pause. He stirred his coffee 3 times before speaking again. I've thought about you, more than I should have. Zara stayed quiet. You were always the brave one, he said. I was a coward. My parents pushed me, and I gave in. I told myself we'd find someone better suited, but I never did. Zara listened, unmoved. I got married 2 years later. It lasted 5 years. Ended badly. No love, just survival, he added with a shrug. I thought time would make me forget you, but it didn't. Zara took a slow sip of her tea before responding. I waited for you once, she said calmly. Cried for you. Blamed myself for not being easy enough, not being less. But you know what I learned? He looked at her, almost ashamed. I learned that love isn't about who stays when it's simple. It's about who stays when it's hard. You didn't stay? I wasn't ready, he whispered. Then don't come now that I'm whole again, she said. He leaned in, voice hopeful. Zara, I'm not asking for a second chance, just to be part of your life again. Even as a friend. You were too important to lose completely. She smiled faintly. You lost me the day you thought I was too much. The air between them grew still. He looked like he had more to say, but Zara stood up. I wish you peace, Omer, but I've already chosen mine. She turned and walked out of the cafe, her heart pounding, but her steps steady. She didn't look back. As she walked to her car, her phone buzzed. A message from Imran. Thinking of you. No matter what happens, just know, you've come so far. She smiled and typed back. I met him. I said goodbye, properly. I'm proud of you, he replied. That night Zara added the final touches to her sketch. The man beside the woman now had a face kind, calm, and steady. He wasn't the past, he was possibility. As she closed her sketchbook, her phone buzzed again. Another message from Imran. Zara. There's something I want to tell you. Something I've kept inside for too long. Her heart skipped. She typed back, what is it? But there was no reply. Not that night, only silence. And in that silence, a new question bloomed in her heart. What truth was Imran holding back? The truth. Next morning Zara kept checking her phone, but there was still no reply from Imran. His last message echoed in her mind. There's something I want to tell you. Something I've kept inside for too long. And then nothing. She tried to focus on her work at the boutique, but even while helping customers or measuring fabric, her thoughts kept drifting. What was it that he wanted to say? Why had he gone silent right after saying something so important? By late afternoon, she couldn't wait anymore. She texted him again. Imran, I hope everything's okay. You left me a little worried. Still, no response. Hours passed. The evening turned into night, and still, there was nothing. She sat by the window, her tea untouched. Her mind started to wander to darker thoughts. What if something happened? What if he changed his mind? What if the truth was something painful? Just before midnight, her phone buzzed. Imran. Sorry for the delay. I needed time to find the right words. Can we meet tomorrow in person? I'd rather say it face to face. Zara stared at the message. Her heart was beating fast. She didn't know what he wanted to say, but something deep inside her told her it mattered. Yes, she replied. Tell me when and where. Imran responded. 4 p.m. The old book cafe near our college. It's quiet there. The next day, Zara arrived early. The cafe was nearly empty, filled with warm wooden shelves and the faint smell of old pages and coffee. It was the kind of place that felt like a whisper, calm and thoughtful. She sat by the window, fingers fidgeting with the edge of her scarf. Imran walked in exactly on time. He looked different today, more serious, a little nervous, but his smile was still gentle when he saw her. Thanks for coming, he said, sitting down. You made me curious. She replied softly. There was a pause. Then he took a deep breath. I've held this in 4 years, Zara, not because I wanted to hide it, but because I didn't think it mattered. But now, it feels like you deserve to know. She leaned in slightly, her eyes searching his face. Back when Omer left you, you didn't know this, but I was nearby. I wasn't stalking you or anything, he said quickly, but I was. Around I had just started working at the local hospital one night. Your father came in heart palpitations, stress-related. Zara's eyes widened. That was the same night Omar broke off the engagement. Imran nodded. I was the junior doctor who treated him. I didn't reveal my name because I didn't want it to seem weird. But that night, I saw your family break. I saw you crying outside the emergency room. And all I wanted was to walk up to you, sit beside you, and tell you that everything would be okay. Zara's throat tightened. But I didn't. I just stayed in the background, watching, helping where I could. Over the years, I followed your work quietly. Your boutique, your fashion shows, your interviews, and when I saw you again at the engagement last week, I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. Zara sat back, speechless. I know it sounds strange, and I don't expect anything from you, he continued, but I had to be honest. Because you deserve honesty. You deserve someone who doesn't walk away when things get hard. She looked at him, emotions swirling in her chest. Why didn't you say something before? I was afraid you'd think I was just another person trying to enter your life now that you're strong again, he admitted. But I'm not here to rescue you. I'm here because I believe in the kind of love that stands quietly in the corner until it's needed. Zara didn't know what to say. Her mind was full, her heart even more so. Imran stood up, reaching into his coat. He handed her a small folded note. I wrote this the night I saw you at the hospital. I never gave it to you. Maybe now's the time. She took it silently. He smiled, then turned and left the cafe. Not waiting for her to read it, Zara sat there for a few moments, then slowly opened the note. The handwriting was careful, a little shaky. The words simple. You don't know me, but I've seen your strength, even in silence. When others walk away, some hearts remain. If you ever look back and see someone standing quietly, it might be me, just waiting, not to be chosen, only to be seen. Tears welled in Zara's eyes. Later that night, as she returned home, her father was sitting on the sofa watching an old news debate. Abu, she said gently, sitting beside him, do you remember the night you were in the hospital after? My engagement broke. He looked at her and nodded. Hardest night of my life. Do you remember who treated you? He paused. A young doctor. Kind eyes. Didn't say much. Why? Zara smiled softly. I met him again today. Her father raised his eyebrows. Oh, he never forgot us, she said quietly. Not you. Not me. Her father didn't say anything right away. Then, slowly, he reached over and squeezed her hand. Maybe Allah sends some people to walk beside us, even when we don't know we need them. Zara's fingers trembled as she stared at the message. The words were sharp, threatening. You think he's better than me? You'll regret walking away soon. It was from an unknown number, but the tone was unmistakable. Only one person would dare send something like that, Omar. She locked her phone screen and tried to calm her breathing. Her heart pounded in her chest, not from fear but from fury. After everything, he still thought he had power over her. She picked up the phone again and showed it to her father. His brows furrowed, reading the message carefully. Block the number, he said firmly. He's not worth your time, Beta. Zara nodded, but the unease lingered. She had said goodbye. She had walked away with grace. But it seemed Omar couldn't handle rejection. The next day at the boutique, Zara tried to focus on work. Orders were coming in, customers kept arriving, and Sana stayed busy assisting them all. But Zara's mind wasn't fully there. Her hands moved, but her heart felt heavy. Around noon, Imran dropped by. He brought coffee for both of them, smiling warmly when he saw her. I hope it's okay, I was nearby and thought of you, he said. Zara's shoulders eased the moment she saw him. Of course, it's always okay. He handed her the coffee. You look distracted. She hesitated, then showed him the message. He read it twice, his face tightening. Did you reply? No, just blocked the number. Good, he's trying to rattle you. Don't give him what he wants. I won't, she said, but I hate that this still affects me. Imran looked into her eyes. It's normal. People like him don't understand that respect doesn't follow rejection. They think they're owed something. Zara gave a small nod. He used to say I was too sensitive, that I made big things out of nothing. Imran smiled gently. Being sensitive isn't a flaw, Zara. It's how you feel deeply. It's how you create beauty. His words soothed her in a way nothing else could. They sat in the small office, sipping their coffee. For the first time in days, Zara felt safe again. Imran stood to leave. You ever feel uncomfortable? Just message me. I'll be there. She looked at him with quiet gratitude. You already are. That night, she sat at her desk sketching again. She was working on a bridal designer request from a new client, but the sketch turned into something else. Instead of heavy embroidery and bright colors, she began drawing soft lines, light fabrics, and open spaces. Something peaceful, something true. She labeled the design freedom. Later, she received a message from an unknown number again, but this time it wasn't threatening. It was a photo of her boutique's entrance, taken just moments ago. She rushed outside, but the street was empty. Cold air brushed against her skin. Her heart pounded louder this time, not with fear, but with anger. Back inside, she called Imran. Someone took a picture of my shop just now. Sent it to me. Stay inside, he said. Immediately. Lock your doors. I'm coming. 20 minutes later, he was there. checking every corner of the building before finally stepping in. I don't think he's gone far, Imran said, but I'll stay until you're okay. Zara looked at him, truly looked, his eyes steady, his voice calm, his presence strong but not overwhelming. She had spent years learning to protect herself. She never needed saving, but Imran didn't try to save her. He simply stayed quiet, present, respectful. Thank you, she said, for showing up. Always. Imran gave a soft smile. You know, when I saw you crying outside that hospital, years ago I promised myself if I ever got the chance to be part of your life, I wouldn't run. I'd show up every time. Zara felt a wave of emotion rise in her chest. Imran, she began, but stopped. He gently placed a hand over hers. You don't need to say anything now. Just know I'm not going anywhere. They sat in silence, the kind that didn't feel empty. The next morning Zara received an envelope under the boutique's door. No name, just a folded letter inside. She opened it slowly. You think you're brave. You're not, you're just lucky someone's playing hero. But heroes fall too. Let's see how long he lasts. Zara closed her eyes. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about control. Omar couldn't handle losing control over her, but this time, she wouldn't let fear win. She took the letter, placed it in a folder, and walked straight to the police station. She filed a report, gave them the messages, told them everything. She messaged Imran after. I reported it. I'm not hiding anymore. His reply came quickly. That's the Zara I see. Brave, bold, and no longer bending. That evening her father sat with her quietly. He had seen her strength, her pain, and now, her courage. You know, he said, I used to worry you'd be alone. That maybe the world wouldn't value your heart the way it deserves. Zara looked at him. But, now I see. The right people don't just value your heart, they protect it. Zara smiled. Later that night, Imran sent one last message. Zara, I know this week has been difficult, but if you're ready, I'd like to ask you something important, in person. Her heart fluttered. Okay, she replied. When tomorrow, where the red flowers bloom. Zara paused. That phrase, she had used it once in a university sketch. A hidden garden she always dreamed of visiting. A place of peace and rebirth. Had he remembered? Zara stood in front of her wardrobe, holding a soft beige shawl in one hand and a navy blue one in the other. It wasn't a date, she reminded herself. It was just a conversation. But her heart didn't agree. Imran had asked to meet her where the red flowers bloom. Only someone who truly knew her would remember what that meant. She chose a light, pastel outfit, simple and elegant. The kind she wore when she wanted to feel calm, not noticed. She pinned her scarf, checked her reflection once, then left the house. The sun was gentle that afternoon, casting golden light across the quiet park Imran had chosen. It was a place tucked away from the noisy world. No one came here often, but when the season turned, red flowers bloomed near the edges of the path. As Zara walked slowly along the stone walkway, her breath caught. He was already there. Imra and stood near the old bench where the red blooms danced in the breeze. He was holding something, an old sketchbook. Her sketchbook. Zara approached quietly. Where did you get that? He smiled. You left it in the boutique's back room last week. Santa gave it to me this morning. I didn't look inside, I promise. She took the sketchbook from him, holding it gently like a fragile part of her past. I used to draw this place before I ever found it in real life, she said. It was my escape when things felt too loud. And now? Imran asked. It feels like a beginning. They sat down on the bench. The breeze carried the scent of flowers and something softer, something like peace. I wanted to ask you something, Imran began. Zara turned to him, heart steady but alert. I know we haven't known each other deeply for long, but I feel like I've known your soul for years. I've seen your strength, your silence, your kindness. I know your story. I've walked beside it from afar, and now I want to walk beside it closely, if you'll let me. Zara's lips parted, but he continued before she could speak. I'm not here to rescue you. I don't want to fix you. I just want to grow with you, day by day. Honestly, slowly, fully. He pulled out a small velvet box, not a ring, but something wrapped in white paper. He handed it to her. Inside was a folded letter and a tiny silver charm shaped like a flower. Opened the letter. This is not a proposal. Not yet. It's a promise. That if you choose to let me in, I will never make you feel too old, too late, or too much. You are enough. Exactly as you are. Zara's eyes welled up, not with pain, not with sadness, but with a warmth she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. She whispered, This is the kind of love I thought only existed in books. It's real, he said gently, because you're real. And real love doesn't demand, it listens, it waits, and it never runs. Zara looked at him, her hands still holding the small charm. Imran, I'm afraid of what? Of trusting again? Of getting used to something beautiful, and then losing it. Imran reached over, not to hold her hand, but to place his gently beside hers. Then let's not rush. No pressure, no labels. Just truth. One day at a time. But I'll be here, every day. Until you're ready. For a long time, they sat in silence, watching the wind move the flowers. Something in that moment felt sacred, Safe. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, Zara finally spoke. Okay, one day at a time, Imran nodded. One day at a time. They walked together to the gate, their steps unhurried. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for the first time, she wasn't afraid of tomorrow. Back at home, Zara sat with her father and told him everything. He listened quietly, then smiled. He sounds like the kind of man who doesn't knock loudly but enters with care. Zara smiled. He does. That night, she placed the silver flower charm next to her pillow. She hadn't made any decisions yet, but her heart had taken its first step forward. As she was drifting off to sleep, her phone buzzed. She expected a message from Imran, but it wasn't. It was a photo of Imran's car. Damaged, parked outside his building, the window smashed. A message followed. Tell him to stay away, or next time, it won't just be glass. Zara sat up, wide awake, fear crawling up her spine. She called Imran instantly. He answered, voice calm but tired. Zara, Imran, someone vandalized your car. I just got a message. He sighed. No, I didn't want to tell you tonight. I thought maybe we could have one good day. Zara's voice broke. You should report this. I already did, he said. I gave the police everything. Do you think it's Omar? I'm sure of it. Silence passed between them. I'm so sorry, she whispered. The next morning, Zara didn't wake to birds or sunlight. She woke to fear. Not the sharp, panicked kind, but the kind that quietly sits with you, heavy and constant. She hadn't slept more than a few hours. Her mind kept replaying the photo of Imran's shattered car window and the threatening message. Whoever sent it knew where he lived. The thought made her stomach twist. She had spent her entire adult life trying to avoid drama, trying to be good, quiet, acceptable. And yet here she was in the middle of something dangerous, something personal. She dressed quietly and called Imran. He picked up quickly. Did you sleep? She asked. A little, he said. The police are reviewing the CCTV footage from the building. I'll know more by noon. Do you want me to come over? No, I want you safe, Imran said firmly. But I do want to see you later today, somewhere public. Zara nodded, though he couldn't see her. Okay, I'll text you a place. They agreed to meet at a quiet tea house not far from her boutique. It was small, with tall glass windows, and flowering plants at the entrance. When Zara arrived, Imran was already waiting, a tired smile on his face. He stood to greet her. You look calm. She sat down. I'm not, but I'm trying to be. They ordered tea and sat for a few moments in silence. Finally, Imran pulled out his phone and placed it on the table. They found something, he said. The CCTV footage from last night showed a man in a hoodie approaching my car around 1:15 a.m. He kept his face covered, but his build, his walk hits him. Zara, it's Omar. Zara's breath caught in her throat. Will they arrest him? They need more evidence, Imran replied. But they're watching him now, keeping track. Zara stared into her tea, the surface trembling slightly from her shaking hand. I didn't think he'd go this far, she whispered. He was selfish, yes, controlling, but I never thought he could be cruel. Imran reached across the table, touching her fingers lightly. People like him don't hate losing love. They hate losing control. Zara nodded slowly. So what do we do now? We don't back down, Imran said. We live. We move forward. We stay strong together. Zara looked up at him, her eyes soft but determined. You know, there was a time I thought love was something you earned by being easy, quiet, small. Now I'm learning. It's something you deserve when you stand tall. Imran smiled. You're not just standing, Zara. You're rising. Later that evening, Zara sat with her father and told him everything. The threats, the damage, the danger. Her father was quiet for a long time. Then he said, let me come with you tomorrow to the police station. It's time he knows you're not alone. Zara felt her eyes sting. Thank you, Abu. The next morning, the two of them walked into the station. Together, Zara held her folder of printed threats, messages, and photos. The officer listened carefully, nodding as she explained. Has he contacted you directly since the last message? No, Zara replied. But I know he's watching. We're gathering enough now to file a legal restraint. Once it's approved, he won't be able to come near you or Mr. Imran, the officer said. As Zara stepped out of the station. Sunlight bathed the street, but something still felt shadowed inside her. Closure didn't come through papers, came through courage. Through choosing peace over fear, again and again. That evening Zara returned to her boutique. It had been quiet all day. Sana greeted her with warm eyes and concern. Everything. Okay, Zara nodded. Better than yesterday. As they talked, a delivery boy entered with a large white box. For Miss Zara, he said. She looked at the label. No sender's name. Cautiously, she opened it. Inside was a bouquet of dead roses. Blackened. Wilted. Zara single quotes as heart dropped. There was a card. Love fades, pain stays. You chose wrong. She stared at it. Fury bubbling inside her. Enough. This wasn't just jealousy. This was harassment, intimidation, cruelty, masked as love. She marched to her office, took photos of everything, and forwarded them to the police contact immediately. Then, for the first time since all this started, She called Omer. He answered on the third ring. Zara, don't speak, she said coldly. Just listen. There was silence. If you ever send anything again, if you come near me or Imran, you will not just face a complaint, you will face a courtroom. I have every message, every photo, every letter. I stayed silent once. I won't again. Still silence. Then you've changed. No, Zara said. I just stopped apologizing for existing. She hung up. Outside. The sky had darkened. Rain clouds rolled in quietly. Zara stepped out for fresh air, letting the breeze wash over her. Her phone buzzed. A message from Imran. Are you free tonight? Yes, please. They met again at the garden, where the red flowers grew. The rain had just begun, light drops brushing the leaves. Imran held an umbrella, but Zara didn't mind the rain. It felt cleansing. He looked at her. You okay? She nodded. I finally said what needed to be said. I'm proud of you, he said. You did what most people are too scared to do. You stood up. Zara looked at him, her voice quiet. Imran, this hasn't been easy, and I still don't know what the future holds. But if there's one thing I do know, it's that I trust you. I want to walk into whatever's next. With you beside me? Imran smiled, the rain clinging gently to his lashes. Then, let's walk. Together. No matter how slow, how uncertain. Together. They stood there, beneath one umbrella, rain falling gently around them. It wasn't a dramatic moment. It wasn't loud, but it was real. And for Zara, real was enough yet. As the rain fell heavier, neither of them noticed a figure watching from the distance. Just behind the garden's edge, eyes fixed, hands clenched. The rain continued through the night, falling steady like a song the earth had waited too long to hear. Zara stood by her window, watching drops streak down the glass. Her heart caught, somewhere between peace and warning. She should have felt calm. She had taken every step to protect herself and Imran, but still, a chill lingered in the air, like a shadow that refused to fade. Her phone buzzed around 11 p.m. A call. Unknown number. She stared at it, heart racing. Then it stopped. A message followed. You think it's over? But I haven't even started. Zara swallowed hard. Her fingers moved before she could hesitate, forwarding the message directly to the officer she'd been in contact with. This wasn't fear anymore. It was a crime. Moments later, her phone rang again. This time, it was Imran. Zara, he said quickly. Are you okay? I just got a call from the police. They've confirmed it. Omer's phone records match the threats. They've issued a warrant. Zara exhaled, leaning against the wall. They'll arrest him. Yes, it could happen tonight. They just needed one last proof. That last message you got, was it? She closed her eyes. Relief wanted to come in, but it was still waiting at the door. I'll stay on the line with you until you feel calm, Imran said softly. Zara didn't reply with words, just silence that held gratitude. They spoke for over an hour, not just about Omer or fear, but about normal things. Books they loved, childhood stories, dreams they never spoke aloud. And slowly, her heart softened. Again. By morning, the sun had pushed the rain away. A bright golden light warmed the streets. Zara walked to her boutique and found Sana already there, preparing tea. Good morning, Sana said, her smile gentle. You look different today. I feel different, Zara replied. She opened her phone to check for updates. A message from the police was waiting. Omer has been taken into custody. He will face charges under harassment and threat laws. You will be contacted soon for formal testimony. Zara stood there for a moment, still. Then she handed the phone to Sana. Sana read it, then looked up. It's over. Legally, it's beginning. But inside me, yes, it's over. That afternoon, she met Imran for lunch. No tension, no anxiety, just them. She wore a simple, white kurta, minimal makeup. Imran noticed. You look peaceful, he said. For the first time in years, she whispered. They ate in quiet contentment. No masks, no roles, just presence. After lunch, Imran surprised her. I have something for you, he said, reaching into his bag. He pulled out a small black leather-bound notebook. Zara opened it to find pages filled with quotes, hand-drawn sketches, and pressed wildflowers. I started collecting these the day after I saw you at the hospital, he said. I didn't know why. I just wanted to remember the feelings you brought into the room. Zara turned the pages, slowly overwhelmed. I don't have the right words, she said. You don't need them, Imran replied. You've always spoken with your heart. That night, back at home, Zara sat with her father in the garden. He was watering the plants, humming an old tune. Abu, she said softly, do you think I'm allowed to be happy again? He looked up, surprised. My daughter, he said with love, you were never not allowed. You just needed to believe you were. She smiled, tears gathering in her eyes. I think I finally do. He came to her and placed a hand on her head. Then walk into that happiness. And don't look back. A few days later, Zara stood at a quiet gathering at her boutique. It was the launch of her new collection. She had named it Rebirth. The place was glowing with soft lights, fresh flowers, and the sound of gentle laughter. Friends, clients, and neighbors filled the space. Admiring her new work, she stood on a small stage, microphone in hand. Thank you all for coming, she began. This collection isn't just fabric and thread, it's a journey of pain, of healing, of choosing love after loss. Her voice trembled slightly, but she continued.